There are places you can go, Ariana tells him, and a guy as smart as you has a decent chance of surviving to 18. This is the first sentence in the book Unwind by Neal. Not going to try to say his last name. But, anyways, I'm going to read it in honor of the new law that was just passed. Since Handmaid's Tale was based off of this series, or so I heard. Connor isn't so sure, but looking into Ariana's eyes makes his doubts go away, if only for a moment. Her eyes are sweet violet with streaks of gray. She's such a slave to fashion, always getting the newest pigment injection that second it's in style. Connor was never into that. He kept his eyes the color they came in, brown. He never even got tattoos, like so many kids these days get when they're little. The only color on his skin is the tan it takes during the summer. But now, in November, that tan has long faded. He tries not to think about the fact that he'll never see the summer again, at least not as Connor Lassiter. He still can't believe that his life is being stolen from him at 16. Ariana's violet eyes begin to shine as they fill with tears that flow down her cheeks when she blinks. Connor, I'm so sorry. She holds him, and for a moment it seems as if they are the only two people on earth. For that instant, Connor feels invincible, untouchable, but she lets go. The moment passes, and the world around him returns. Once more, he can feel the rumble of the freeway beneath him as cars pass by, not knowing or caring that he's here. Once more, he's just a marked kid, a week short of unwinding. The soft, hopeful things Ariana tells him doesn't help him now. He can barely hear her over the rush of traffic. This place where they hide from the world is one of the most dangerous places that make adults shake their heads, grateful their own children aren't stupid enough to hang out on the ledge of a freeway overpass. For Connor, it's not about stupidity or even rebellion. It's about feeling life. Sitting on this ledge, hidden behind an exit sign, is where he feels most comfortable. Sure, one false step and he's roadkill, yet for Connor, life is on the edge, is home for him. There have been no other girls he's brought here, although he hasn't told Ariana that. He closes his eyes, feeling the vibration of the traffic as if it's pulsing through his veins, a part of him. That has always been a good place to get away from fights with his parents or when he just feels generally boiled. But now Connor, beyond boiled, even beyond fighting with his mom and dad. There's nothing more to fight about. His parents signed the order. It's a done deal. We should run away, Ariana says. I'm fed up with everything, too. My family, school, everything. I could kick AWOL and never look back. Connor hangs on to the thought. The idea of kicking AWOL by himself terrifies him. He might put up a tough front. He might act like a bad boy at school, but running away on his own, he doesn't know if he has the guts for that. But if Ariana comes with him, that's different. That's not alone. AWOL, she says. What does that mean anyway? It's an old military term or something, Connor says. It means absent without leave. Ariana thinks about it and grins. More like alive without lectures. Connor takes her hand and tries not to squeeze it too tightly. She said she'd go if he asked her. Only now does he realize he hadn't actually asked. Will you come with me, Ariana? Ariana smiles and nods. Sure, she says, I will. Ariana's parents don't like Connor. We always knew he'd be an unwind. He could just hear them saying, you should have stayed away from that Lassiter boy. He was never Connor to them. He was always that Lassiter boy. They think that just because he's been in and out of disciplinary school that they have a right to judge him. Still, when he walks her home that afternoon, he stops short of her door, holding behind a tree as she goes inside. Before he heads home, he thinks how hiding is now going to be a way of life for both of them. Home. Connor wonders how he can call the place he lives home when he's about to be evicted, not just from the place he sleeps, but from the hearts of those who are supposed to love him. His father sits in a chair watching the news as Connor enters. Hi, Dad. His father points out some random carnage on the news. Clappers again. What did they hit this time? They blew up an Old Navy in the North Akron Mall. Says Connor. You'd think they'd have better taste. I don't find that funny. Connor's parents don't know that Connor knows he's being unwound. He wasn't supposed to find out, but Connor has always been good at ferreting out secrets. 3 weeks ago, looking for a stapler in his dad's home office, he found airplane tickets to the Bahamas. They were going on a family vacation over Thanksgiving. One problem, though. There were only 3 tickets. His mother, his father, his younger brother. No ticket for him. At least he just figured the ticket was somewhere else, but the more he thought about it, the more it seemed wrong. So Connor went looking a little deeper when his parents were out and he found it. The Unwind order. It had been signed in old-fashioned triplicate. The white copy was already gone, off with the authorities. The yellow copy would accompany Connor to the end, and the pink would stay with his parents as evidence of what they'd done. Perhaps they'd frame it and hang it alongside his first-grade picture. The date on the order was the day before the Bahamas trip. He was going off to be unwound, and they were going on vacation to make themselves feel better about it. The unfairness of it made Connor want to break something. It had made him want to break a lot of things, but he hadn't. For once, he held his temper, and aside from a few fights in school that weren't his fault, he kept his emotions hidden. He knew what he knew to himself. Everyone knew that an unwind order was irreversible, so screaming and fighting wouldn't change a thing. Besides, he found a certain power in knowing his parents' secret. Now the blows he could deal them were so much more effective. Like the day he brought flowers home for his mother and she cried for hours. Like the B+ he brought home on a science test. Best grade he ever got in science. He handed it down to his father, who looked at it, the color draining from his face. See, Dad, my grades are better. I could even bring my science grade up to an A by the end of the semester. An hour later, his father was sitting in a chair, clutching the test in his hand and staring blankly at the wall. Connor's motivation was simple: make them suffer. Let them know for the rest of their lives what a horrible mistake they had made. But there was no sweetness to this revenge, and now 3 weeks of rubbing it in their faces has made him feel no better. In spite of himself, he's starting to feel bad for his parents, and he hates that he feels that way. Did I miss dinner? His father doesn't look away from the TV. Your mother left a plate for you. Connor heads off toward the kitchen, but halfway there he hears Connor. He turns to see his father looking at him, not just looking, but staring. He's going to tell me now, Connor thinks. He's going to tell me they're unwinding me, and then break down in tears, going on and on about how sorry he is about it at all. If he does, Connor just might accept the apology. He might even forgive him, and then tell him he doesn't plan to be here when the juvie cops come to take him away. But in the end, all his father says is, "Did you lock the door when you came in?" "I'll do it now." Connor locks the door, then leaves to go to his room, no longer hungry for whatever his mother has saved for him. At 2 a.m, Connor dresses in black and fills a backpack for the things that really matter to him. He still has room for 3 changes of clothes. He finds it amazing when it comes down to it, how few things are worth taking. Memories mostly, reminders of a time before things went so wrong between him and his parents, between him and the rest of the world. Connor peeks in on his brother, thinks about waking him up to say goodbye, then decides it's not a good idea. He silently slips out into the night. He can't take his bike because he had installed an anti-theft tracking device. Connor never considered that he might be the one stealing it. Ariana has bikes for both of them. Ariana's house is a 20-minute walk if you take the conventional route. Suburban Ohio neighborhoods never have streets that go in straight lines, so instead he takes the more direct route through the woods and makes it there in 10. The lights in Ariana's house are off. He expected this. It might have been suspicious if she stayed awake all night. Better pretend she's sleeping so she won't alert any suspicion. He keeps his distance from the house. Ariana's yard and front porch are equipped with motion sensor lights that come on whenever anything moves into range. They're meant to scare off wild animals and criminals. Ariana's parents are convinced that Connor is both. He pulls out his phone and dials the familiar number. From where he stands in the shadows at the edge of the backyard, he can hear it ring from her room upstairs. Connor disconnects quickly and ducks further back into the shadows for fear that Ariana's parents might be looking out of their windows. What was she thinking? Ariana was supposed to leave her phone on vibrate. He makes a wide arc around the edge of the backyard, wide enough not to set off the lights, and although a light comes on when he steps onto the front of the porch, only Ariana's bedroom faces that way. She comes to the door a few moments later, opening it not quite wide enough for her to come out or for him to go in. "Hi, are you ready?" asks Connor. Clearly she's not. She wears a robe over satin pajamas. "You didn't forget, did you?" No, I didn't forget, so hurry up. The sooner we get out of here, the more a lead we'll get before anyone knows we're gone." "Connor," she says, "here's the thing." And the truth is right there in her voice. In the way it's such a strain for her to even say his name, the quiver of apology lingering in the air like an echo. She doesn't have to say anything after all that.